Hey, I'm Josh, and this is The Camera Project. Today we're reviewing video on the Sony A7 III, and we're here with Justin Ross, the owner-director of Brave Makers. Justin, tell us a little bit about what Brave Makers does and who you are.
Yeah, so I am a director and sometimes DP at Brave Makers. We are a production house specializing in commercials and branded content.
So, if I'm guessing correctly, you guys are usually shooting with Reds and things like that. What's your usual wheelhouse on cameras?
Red, Arri Alexa Mini. A good amount for B cams on cameras like GH5S. We've used the Sony A7S II on a number of projects. I love what Sony's been doing in recent years. I'm excited to see what the A7 III is all about.
Yeah, so I brought Justin in to review the video features on the A7 III, but there's a few parameters. One, well, we're shooting at a mall. The challenge, as I'm issuing right now, is we're gonna go into the food court and we have to make a beautiful food shot in a mall food court. All you have is the Sony A7 III, no special tools, no lighting, no special rigging, but you do have some good lenses. I brought the 55 1.8, the 35 1.4, and the 24 to 105 f4, so you have your choice of lenses. Me, on the other hand, I'm going to be shooting on the DJI Osmo Mobile 2, which is tangled in my Sony RX100 Mark I and my iPhone 6S, but I also have the Sony X1000 and the Olympus OMD EM5 Mark II. I'm just going to use whatever tool I feel like at the moment. Hopefully we won't get kicked out because, yeah, we're going to have a bunch of gear, but we're going to try to be as discreet as possible, and we're going to make some sexy food footage in a mall food court. You ready?
I am ready.
Let's do this. Okay, so we went into the mall, and before Justin could shoot a single shot, one single shot on the A7 III, we were told that we are not allowed to shoot in the mall. Now, we figured this would happen, but we just didn't think it would happen so soon. So we've decided we're gonna go store hopping, stores outside of the mall. And right now we're going into Costco. We will shortly be kicked out of there as well. So yeah, we'll see you back in a few minutes, but we'll see if we can get a few shots before we get kicked out.
Looking for the industrial sized mayonnaise. Do you know what aisle that is? So we wanted to keep a low profile, so we waited till a couple days before Christmas to go to a large department store. Figured nobody'd be around. We're keeping a low profile back here near the fireplaces and toilets. The layout of the store is brilliant. You could be trying on sweatshirts, you turn around and you're in the seafood aisle. It's quite interesting. So I want to start messing around with the settings. All right, so we just got kicked out of location number 2, Costco. We made it down some of the aisles. I started adjusting some features I hadn't really rolled, and we got escorted out of there. So not our proudest day, but
one of them.
We march on, and we're here at Starbucks, hoping that we can keep a low profile, maybe, you know, grab a coffee, sit in the back, and maybe set up a stylized food shot, maybe set up an interview, whatever we can get in before we get escorted out.
See you in prison.
So pretty much the only time we would use autofocus on a camera like this is when it's running on a gimbal. We don't have a gimbal today, but I'm going to try to do some manual push-ins on our beautiful coffee cake here and see how the autofocus runs. Why is it not working now? There we go. Okay. There we go. So it's not super responsive. Yeah, there's still a little bit of a lag, but it could just be because we're so close up. There you go. Nice, beautiful. Yeah. So like I said, the viewfinder, I'm especially noticing it when you punch in, which you can do on record, but only in manual focus. Just overall looks soft. I think that's just a display screen thing. I'm used to working off of monitors, but in-camera stabilization's not bad. Battery life on these Z batteries, pretty awesome. Definitely a huge improvement. I mean, I'm only used to working with the A7S II in the past, which those batteries weren't that great. These are phenomenal. I feel like we should be, just in the short time we've been here on my experience using Sony batteries in the past, we'd be at like 50%, but this one is crushing along. I'm at 85% right now. So yeah, at full 4K, 24p, I noticed no cropping, no vignetting. Everything looks great, which that's largely what we, shoot 24p. There are some projects that we do shoot 30p, and I did notice, I'm going to confirm this now, that when you jump to 30p, you definitely notice some cropping. A little bit, not huge, but I definitely noticed some cropping there. But overall, I remember there were some cropping issues with the A7S II. That seems to be resolved in full 4K 24p in this camera. The camera definitely performs well in low light. I'm going to run a bunch of tests, shoot some stuff, because I don't have a monitor here. I'd love to review some of the footage and see if I capture any noise. Josh has the camera set up right now so he can interview me. He has it on full autofocus, and he's going to ask me some questions. I think it's a great camera, especially for the price point. I mean, I think it kind of gives you a little of everything. If this is your main cam and you're kind of a one-man show, I think it's a great camera. We might use something like this as a B cam. I mean, Sony in its recent cameras, and especially evident in this one, awesome in low light. Autofocus was okay. I felt it kind of lagged a little bit. The LCD screen I noticed from the get-go, not the best Sony has put out. I feel like it almost had a little bit of lag, and definitely noticed an overall softness on the LCD. So I would definitely recommend getting a monitor. You should always kind of have one in a camera like this. I mean, the menu system in Sony's, and I've noticed this in their past cameras, it's not the most intuitive. So it's hard to really define what was my favorite place of getting kicked out of today. It's been some years since I've been kicked out of anywhere, but I felt like getting kicked out of the mall. I feel like I was 16 in high school all over again. I wasn't with my large posse of derelict friends, but there was something nostalgic about getting kicked out of the mall, and it felt good.
You should do it once every 10 or 15 years.
I recommend everyone do it every now and then. It's liberating. Image stabilization in the camera, I was actually pretty impressed with. Pretty smooth. I mean, we would definitely run a camera like this on a gimbal, but just in handheld, I was pretty impressed. Most of our food shots we were doing just kind of the camera sitting on the tabletop, but overall I was pretty impressed with the image stabilization. I'm pretty happy with this kind of stylized, impromptu food shoot that we had. A couple of coffee cakes on a clean white plate. We got some beautiful bokeh. We had the overhead lights in the back, and I was pretty happy. We tried out some push-in shots and some pans. I was pretty happy with what we got.
All right, so now Justin is shooting me with the A7III. It's again full autofocus because we want to see how it does if I lean in or something like that. Especially when you're on YouTube, when you're shooting yourself, it's good to know that a camera will be able to track you, especially when unfortunately you can't see yourself on this screen because Sony still won't make a flip out screen so we can see that sort of thing. Despite a few of those little handling and form factor type issues I still do have with the Sony, for instance, the flip out screen, the reluctance to really embrace the touch screen for things like menus, I really enjoy this camera otherwise. I think it's really great for stills and video, great in low light, really great autofocus. That eye autofocus for stills is just fantastic for street photography, which really fits my style. I would love a few more 1.8 lenses in their lineup, but that's neither here nor there. I really enjoyed this camera and I highly recommend it to anyone who's interested in getting into a full-frame mirrorless camera. I think it's fantastic. I'd like to really thank our friends at Lens Pro To Go who supplied the camera and lenses for this review. They are a fantastic company. They send it in this beautiful hard case and send it really quickly to get you whatever camera you need for the shoot you need when you need it. If you like the review, please hit the like button, and as always, please subscribe to the channel. Do it. Do it. No, really do it. I'm testing the autofocus. Do it. Do it.